everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you my Pick a Stick Challenge Artist Trading Card. I realized it's almost the end of the month and I hadn't done it yet. I, I've been gel printing my face off, so I haven't really had a lot of time. Plus I was out of town and all that. So this has 3 steps plus a color. Step 1 was to use a stencil, and so I had this piece of cleanup paper that I was messing around with on my gel plate, and I had cut it up into pieces because I thought it would make interesting artist trading cards. And so I decided to use it and stencil over the top of it. I'm using this checkerboard shape, and I'm mixing up a color that I think is pistachio. And I mixed some chopped pesto with a little bit of titanium white and some I think it's bright yellow green Liquitex, and mixed all that up together. And then I was comparing it with the little magazine cutout that I plan to use that has a bunch of pistachios, and it is the right color. It's pistachio color according to that picture. So I'm using a cosmetic sponge, and I've got way too much paint on the sponge and it's getting kind of splotchy. I'm not doing a very good stenciling job. It's going to be an abstract piece anyway. I figured, what the heck. So I dried it off, and then I decided that I wanted those checkerboard pieces to be a little bit more prominent, a little bit more a part of the pattern. And so I'm using my black Posca pen to go around them. I'm not being super fussy about it because this stencil is like a very loose. I mean, it wasn't a precise 90-degree angle squares. It was kind of wonky already, plus then my stenciling. So I'm just doing it freehand, not worrying too much about it. This ends up being a pretty strange little ATC, but I like it. I don't know if you guys will like it or not. Before you guys start commenting, though, I already know, so you don't have to tell me, that I misspelled pistachio. I know that I left the H out. It was not intentional, obviously, but it's done. It's too late. I can't change it. So there's no point in fussing about it. It's still understandable as to what it was supposed to be. So I took 3 different size paper punches in circles, and I punched out 3 circles from that magazine piece that I had cut out of a magazine that is a picture of some pistachio nuts. And I'm making an abstract. The background was already kind of abstract just from the random crusty bits that I was cleaning up off my gel plate. And then, of course, adding squares and circles and geometric shapes always adds kind of a abstract look anyway. So I have 3 sizes. I decide where to put them, and then I'm going to stick them down with my glue stick because I've realized that using magazine pages, which are so thin and flimsy, they just want to buckle. If you put something on that's wet, they just buckle and bubble and become a real pain. So it's better to use a glue stick. However, my glue stick it's empty and I need a new one, and I just never seem to remember to get another one. So I'm just using the dregs of it as best I can, and then smoothing out anything that might be lifted up using the edge of a plastic card, which works great for magazine pages. It's the best way to collage with them. So then I trim off the edges, and I'm liking that. That's a pretty cool background. It kind of almost looks like pistachios in space. I'm not sure why. It reminds me of that. The next prompt was letters, and I had this sheet that I got in Happy Mail a while ago of some copper colored letters, and I thought that those would be perfect for this little project because there's some copper PBO paint on the background, and so I would have kind of green and copper, which is a cool color combination. So I start to put them on. I get out my ruler. I'm making everything real straight, and I get to the point where I realize it's not going to fit. And that was before I even realized that I left the H out, which I didn't realize until everything was already complete. So no way that H would have fit in there anyway. So I'm carefully placing them, and then I get to about to the C, and I realize, yeah, ain't gonna happen. No way, no how. Excuse me, I'm sleepy. Sorry about that. Now I've made everyone yawn. So I pull them off. I try to put them the up and down way, and strangely, they don't fit that way either, and they look weird. So I end up deciding to put them on a separate piece and then stick them on. So I get another scrap of this black cardstock, and I use it to line up all my letters and make like kind of like a little banner out of them. And I squish them together as close as they will go. I'm like making them as tight as possible, hoping that I can fit the word on the card. Which I do. Sort of. Kind of. You know, it's one of those days. So I'm like, yeah, if I just trim a little bit, it will be fine. It'll be fine. So I trim off the top, to make it a skinny little banner. And at this point, I've stuck and restuck the stickers 3 times. This is the 3rd time. So they're wanting to wiggle a little bit. The stickiness isn't on there very much, and I want to make sure that they stay on there. So I decide to use some Collage Podge in the glossy formula. This is a Tracy Bautista medium that she has with Aleene's. And the reason I want to use glossy, which is rare, I don't use glossy that much, is because those stickers are metallic, and also in the background is that metallic copper paint that I want to keep it. I don't want it to turn into some dull brown color. I want it to remain copper. So that's about the only reason that I ever use glossy mediums, is when I know that I have something shimmery or shiny or metallic that I want to keep that way. It's something to think about. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to use my matte medium. Yeah, well, if you're using something shimmery, you got to pay attention that it will dull down anything that's sparkly, shimmery, metallic-y, which is just makes you sad. It just makes you sad. So I trim it down, and I realize that when I cut off that edge of the O, it kind of looks like a C. So I've already got letter problems, but I'm happy enough with it. It's really about design and not about spelling today. So I'm done with that prompt. The next prompt is dark. And so I decide to use my Spell All pencil, which will make a nice dark watery look when I blend it out with the water brush. This water brush is having a problem. I had to get rid of it, get a different one. I need to soak it in some Murphy's oil soap and try to get the gunk out of the filter, because it's not a filter, it's more like a valve. The water is just not coming out well enough to suit me. So I actually have a brand new pack of water brushes that I haven't even opened yet, and I should just get them out because I need to try them anyway. And they're new, they're brand new, they've never been opened, and I just haven't opened the package yet. I will do that soon. So I'm drawing around all the circles of pistachio-ness, the random circles of pistachio-ness in the pistachio cosmos with that dark pencil, which I think satisfies the whole prompt of dark. Adding some more where I think it needs to be a little bit darker. Just having some fun with it. And then I decide that where there is dark, there should be light to make it look darker. So I add a few little highlights. I was going to blend them with the water brush and realized that that paper will not handle it. That magazine paper will freak out if I put water on it. So I just blend it with my finger. Just adding a little highlight on one side as if the light is shining down and they're more like spheres than just random circles. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I decide that I need to make the rest of the card, I guess I add a little bit more black, but I need to make the rest of the card shiny. So I end up covering the whole card with the gloss medium and making the whole thing shiny. Glossy, whatever you want to call it. I have this video zoomed up as close as my zoomer can zoom, and I think that makes the table shaking and the camera shaking a little bit more obvious, and also you don't see what I'm doing around the edges like mixing paint and different things and putting mediums out, so it's kind of weird. But since it's such a small thing, I figured it would be a good idea to zoom it up so you can see what I'm doing. So then I just glue my backing on the back of the card. This has my information on it. So if I ever trade this card, I probably never will since the word is misspelled. But if I did, it would have my information on it. And I just print those on my printer so that I can stick them on the back of my cards. Then this is a copper fine point water-based metallic Sharpie. Remember there's paint-based Sharpies, Sharpie paint pens, but then they do have a line of water-based ones, and this is one of them. I don't like the paint pens because they stink. They smell like chemicals, and I just can't tolerate that in my studio. So I prefer these because they're water-based, and so I draw a line around the outside edge and add some little dots here and there with the copper, and I'm pretty much finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to join Pick a Stick Challenge, we have 2 challenges a month, one art journal page, the other an ATC. You can come over with the link in the description box below and ask to join. Be sure that you answer the questions. And of course, comment, thumbs up, share, all those things. That's it for me. Bye-bye.